The tiny red ninja woke in an old rudderless boat next to a giant blue whale. The whale sang a sad song, but the tiny red ninja did not understand. So he sat and listened as the whale crooned and the moon sank into the horizon. When it felt right, the tiny red ninja waved at the massive beast, but was unsure if the whale understood the gesture. Seconds later, the whale sank into the sea, and the tiny red ninja was again all alone. The tiny red ninja spent the next few nights and days drifting aimlessly in solitude. For the first few days, he wondered if anyone missed him. But then, he began to wonder if anyone ever knew him at all. But mostly, he thought about the giant blue whale and its sad, lonely song.
You're way off course. I mean, way off. Is that a tear? Are you crying? Do you need a hug? I'm translucent. There's nothing to substantially grab onto, but I can try. What's going on? Are you okay? Wait. Did you come across a big blue whale? Oh no, you did! Was he singing? You were cursed with his song of sorrow. Oh, look, the spell must be broken. It's gotta be. Because now you're not only off course, but you're also way behind schedule. Now why are you drifting? Why didn't you use the map? There was no map, was there? Oh, this is bad. This is really, really bad. I gotta go see the king. Look, I hope to see you again. And you gotta get the sword. The black one. To break the curse. And hurry. I hope to see you again.
The tiny red
Bye-bye.
ninja slid to the damp hull of the boat. He stared up at the sky and fell asleep for what seemed to be only a second. But it was in that second that he traveled home and patted his cat Harry on the head. Harry purred. A second after that, the tiny red ninja opened his eyes to see that the boat had run aground. And when he sat up, the tiny red ninja watched the black sword fall through time and space as the voice of the ghost echoed from all directions.
Cursed with his song of sorrow. Look, the spell must be broken.
He then watched the sword stab the ground, grow into a tree. What do you hear?
I hear the grasshopper.
Then, in a flash, he was himself but old, and somehow he knew the screaming monster had removed years from his life. He knew that he must move, but when he tried, his bones ached and shook. So he sat back down, even though the tide continued to rise. It was then that a giant stepped from the sky. He wore yellow rain boots and bellowed.
I am here to destroy the tiny red ninja. Have you seen him, old man? Well, if you do, tell him Yosef must step on him, and the sooner the better.
As the giant stomped away, the tiny red ninja realized that the screaming monster had saved him from the giant. But at what cost? The tiny red ninja walked for 8 days without sleep, and on the 9th morning it rained. But the ninja did not stop. Neither did he know where he was going, or even where he was. A whisper from somewhere inside his head encouraged him to keep moving, and he hoped if he did, he would regain his youth, and even return home. Home. The word echoed inside of his body, but without definition. He tried to conjure memories from his life before this life, but with every soggy step, his past became softer and further away. He tried to remember his cat Harry and the faces of his mother and father, but everything he thought he knew now seemed delicate and distant. How could it be, he wondered? Was Harry the fantasy, or the giant in the yellow rain boots? Were the sleepovers with friends and the old movies on the black and white television at his grandparents' house real? Or was the massive blue whale? The tiny red ninja began to wonder if everything was a dream, and if he'd ever been awake at all. Home, the voice whispered again, but this time he was sure that the word came from his heart. And even though the tiny red ninja wanted to stop, he continued forward. Three more days had passed, and the pelting rain had become flakes of snow that danced and whirled as it fell to the ground. It was on the fourth day of the blizzard that he found himself at the entrance of an old cemetery with a skeleton running in circles at the end of a long line of tombs and gravestones. The tiny red ninja did not know what to make of the scene, and then the skeleton spoke.
Oh, happy Halloween, old-timer. Forgive me running, but it's the only way to keep warm. Okay. Let me get into character, will ya? I haven't had to do this for a long time. Just beyond is a cave, and in that cave as well, you'll have to see for yourself. But before you can, you have to solve a riddle, and you only get one shot at it. So take your time, because if you get it wrong, you and I trade places. You'll be stuck here guarding the graves until someone else comes along and gets the riddle wrong, and I'll be free. Are you ready? I have a name that is not mine, and no one thinks of me in their prime. People cry at my sight, while others lie with me day and night. What am I?
The skeleton's riddle was one that he had heard before, so the answer was not difficult to know. The tiny red ninja pointed at the nearest gravestone without even reading it.
Ooh, that's right! You did it! Oh, I'm so relieved. I don't even know what I'd do with myself if I weren't doing this. It's the only thing I have left. I don't even know where I'd go. Everything I ever had is gone. Oh, and keep an eye out for the one-eyed cat. She can help you.
The cold air nipped and bit at the ninja's skin as he walked past the skeleton. And even though he did not know what lay ahead, he continued forward. A few hours after the tiny red ninja left the graveyard, he began to feel the ground rumble beneath his feet. Subtle at first, but the shaking steadily grew. He knew that it was the giant in the yellow rain boots, and that he had to take refuge. It was at a break in the tree line that the tiny red ninja could finally see the mountains with the cave and the beautiful sky beyond. Still miles away and past the boundaries of the colorless forest, the tiny red ninja's eyes swallowed the color as if starved without it. He knew that he would not make it to the mountains before the giant found him and stomped him. There was a part of the ninja that welcomed the anguish he felt as he wished for the years that the screeching monster took from him. But there was another part of him that felt thankful that the beast left him at least the one. It was then that the tiny red ninja came across the house. It seemed abandoned and alone. It stood in sharp contrast to the colors that lay behind it. And even though everything inside of him said to keep moving and to forget this home, he instead walked to it and into it.
Hello. Good to see you. No, don't be confused. The doorway to the creepy house, it's a portal that takes you to where you need to go. There's a lot of them around here. They don't all take you to where you need to go, though. Some are random, some are bad. I bet it feels great to be young again. It's this cave, it's magical. Sit, warm yourself by the fire. Did you know that it's Halloween? That's why I'm wearing this mask. Is that why you're dressed like a ninja? Oh, I see. I'm not sure how you got here. I'm not sure how I got here. Do you remember falling asleep? I don't. Last thing I remember is water. What's the last thing you remember? Well, you don't have to say, that's fine. But this place, it feels like a dream to me, you know? That's why I asked if you remember falling asleep. There's lots of us here. Some old, some young, some medium. Some stay for just a bit, sometimes hours, sometimes minutes. But others stay for months and years sometimes. Some leave, some don't, some can't. I can't. It took me a while to realize that, but once I did, I was happier, I think. But you can, though. At least I think you can. Most folks around here say you can, anyway. I hear you're different. Just stay focused and don't let this place blur your memories. It'll do that. You look tired, Ninja. Sleep. Sleep by the fire. The giant can't get you here. You're safe.
The tiny red ninja watched the flames from the fire dance and flicker as the guitar player strummed. The ninja's eyelids grew heavy as the warmth and comfort of the cave embraced him, and somewhere between a blink, he saw the whale. After a while, it was no longer clear to the ninja if he was asleep or awake. Can you sleep inside of an illusion, or dream while dreaming? The fire was now all around the ninja, and inside of him. Then, through the flames, he saw a tiny boy with red hair, watching the snow fall from a window. The scene felt familiar somehow. There was a tree for Christmas, and fireworks for a new year, but everything seemed crushed and suffocated, and just as the ninja felt convinced this was all a dream, he saw the one-eyed cat. But the ninja could no longer move.